What's going on YouTube? It's Shot Callers Podcast back here with another video. Today I'm going to be recapping the Clippers versus the Nuggets game and the Blazers versus the Warriors game. Now, if you're not aware, NBA is back, baby. I'm excited. I bet all my NBA fans out there are excited. Even preseason, it was just fun to watch some of these young players get some minutes. It was fun to see some of the stars just back out on that court. Now, I am a little sick, so I might sound a little off. But anyways, I'm just glad to be back. I have had zero motivation to upload videos just because I had really nothing to upload. I had missed so much time. I didn't really know where to start. And I think this is the perfect way and perfect time to kick back up my YouTube channel because honestly, as soon as I watched one preseason game, just like a few minutes of it, I was just wanting to get back into it. So let me just stop rambling. Let's just get started. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a beat. If it's your first time being on the channel, hi, my name's Kyler, Shot Callers Podcast. We upload daily NBA videos twice a day, and we do podcasts on the weekends. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to do that for the time being, but eventually will start that up myself. So without further ado, let's get started. First game we're going to be discussing is the Clippers versus the Nuggets. This was supposed to be a Terence Mann led game, at least from my eyes when I first thought I was going to watch this. Paul George did not play in this game, and my curiosity lied around Terence Mann, knowing that how well he performed in the playoffs. What was he going to show us this upcoming season to prove that, maybe this guy can potentially be our third option? Now, I don't really believe that. That's not really his game. But what I did believe that he was going to step up and become a really key role player for them so that when Kawhi does come back next season, maybe Terence Mann can actually develop into that third option. And I saw some encouraging signs, even though he did not shoot well at all from the field. He shot around 31% from the field on 12 points. The fourth quarter was encouraging as he did take over at a time where the Clippers needed it. And they actually ended up pulling out the win when they were trailing most of that game. So shout out to the Clippers. But Terence Mann had a lot of mid-ranges that I saw. It honestly looked like he was taking some pointers from Paul George and Kawhi in the offseason. I'm not even joking. He was taking some confident mid-range pull-ups that I typically only see Kawhi on that team might take or Paul George might take. So that was really encouraging, even if it wasn't going in. Shout out to George King also. He shot lights out from the field on 12 points, minimal attempts. But he did hit 4 threes that game and was hitting his threes. So shout out to George King. I want to show him some love. But the thing to take away from this was how antsy, both games, matter of fact, how antsy the young players were. It's how eager they were to step onto the court. And not just them, too, the veterans, too. Like, you could really tell. Now, another player I was looking out for on the Clippers was Luke Kennard. Now, as we all know, he did not get much run this offseason, or in the season. Playoffs wasn't really there. And I was curious to see how much he was going to be able to step up in the game because there's minutes to be had. With no Kawhi Leonard, there's plenty of shots to be had. There's plenty of minutes to be had. And I was curious to see with how good of a shooter he is he going to find a way to get onto the floor? Because at the end of the day, shooting is the most valuable thing in the NBA today. And that's what I was most curious about. But overall, this was just like a solid win. Reggie Jackson showed signs of not slowing down from last year. I really like what Reggie Jackson is going to show this year. He's actually one of my players I think is going to bounce back after all those years of being disappointing in Detroit. So shout out to Reggie Jackson as well. But next, for my main take and my video later on today, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is actually like one of the most frustrating players to watch. And it's not because he's like not good. It's because he's so damn talented and so good at getting his shots without having to stop the flow of the offense and Mike Malone's system. It's like if I were to watch Michael Porter Jr. play a similar game of Jason Tatum, how good of a scorer do we think he could be? Now, I do believe that he is hindered and that he does need to work on his ball handling a lot to get to a Jason Tatum like scorer. I also believe that he needs to work on his strength and conditioning to get to a Jason Tatum like scorer. But with that said, he still finished with 23 points, hit a lot of tough shots, and even when he wasn't shooting the flow, it's like a bad shot for most people is a good shot for him. Now, I was a little discouraged how I keep seeing these contested mid-range pull-up, or he'll catch the ball maybe like 2 steps behind the elbow, kind of do a little jab step, or just kind of heave it up. Now, like I said, it's not a bad shot. He's 6'10". He can get his shot up over a lot of people. But at the end of the day, the mid-range shot at that level is the most inefficient shot. And so I believe that if he's going to do that, take it out to the three-point line. Now, he does actually do that. So, like I said, I'm not really too worried about it. But like I said, if you know Michael Porter's game, it's fast breaks. It's catch and shoot threes. It's off the dribble. That's why I think when Jamal Murray comes back, watch out for this Denver Nuggets team. Watch out. This team is going to be killer. But with that being said, there is no Jamal Murray. So Michael Porter Jr. being extended to the max contract of a young player, a lot of people are skeptical of that. Because one, a 19-point-per-game scorer on good efficiency, I should say, who shows defensive potential flashes, but sometimes is a little, what's the word I want to call it? We'll call it a little undisciplined at times. We want to see if he can step up to the plate. But at the end of the day, if you're offered a $200 million extension, you need to step up. It's just that plain and simple. At this point, we do understand that he's young, but being paid that money, the Denver Nuggets are in win now mode, and they need Michael Porter to step up. Next, I want to talk about Bol Bol, and this is kind of why I don't believe that he's going to get minutes at the end of the day. And why I do think that they should just honestly trade him and get some assets. Bol Bol is just an undisciplined defender. An undisciplined player for that matter. He shows these flashes. I'm just like, wow, like this can really be a really good NBA player. And then the very next play, I'm just like, what are we doing here? Where are you going with this? It's a terrible shot. Why did you try and take their man off the dribble, which you can do consistently, not consistently, inconsistently. Why do you try and take him off the dribble? It's not give it up. Use Mike Malone's system. Mike Malone has a really good offensive system. And defensively, even though he had 4 blocks, you don't have to jump at everything. You got to shuffle your feet instead of slide your feet instead of trying to just go for a steal. It's just little things like that. I understand now, even though I did before, I really understood why Bol Bol doesn't get the minutes that a lot of people think he deserves. That's more of like a NBA nerd kind of thing, and I didn't even give full insight. It was just kind of a small little take. But anyways, really good game by the Nuggets. PJ Dozier, I'm going to be looking out for this season as a 3-and-D player. I'm hoping he can step up because I think he can be a really solid player for them. Campazzo, love Campazzo. Didn't have a great shooting game, but love me some Campazzo, so shout out to him. Next up, though, we got the Warriors and the Trailblazers. Now, this was a game where the young players were antsy. Chauncey Billups even said it in the postgame. They were eager to get out there, and you could tell they wanted to be better than what they really are early. Shout out to Greg Brown, even though he didn't really do anything special. He had a lob at the end of the game, and I love seeing that. He's so springy, he's so bouncy. So shout out to Greg Brown. I love seeing that. But this game was a Jordan Poole-led game, and look out for Jordan Poole. Now, I don't believe that he's going to be a consistent scorer this season, but with no Klay Thompson, I like what Steve Kerr is electing to do and slide Jordan Poole into the starting lineup. I'm curious to see how this is going to go this season along with Steph Curry because he has the confidence in the scoring. It's more so, does he have the ability to stay consistent, which I don't believe he hasn't shown. His rookie season, although he was a rookie, he struggled mightily in the efficiency stat column as he shot below 40%. Second season, he showed flashes, but still really inconsistent. This season is, I believe, not a make-or-break season, but let's see what you can really do, Jordan Poole. I do believe that guards need a little bit of time to truly develop into an efficient, consistent scorer. And I don't believe Jordan Poole needs to be a consistent, efficient scorer. As long as Steph Curry returns to MVP form, I don't see a reason why he needs to be that guy. But I don't think it's crazy out of the realm of possibilities that Jordan Poole averages in between the 16 to 20 points a game. I don't think that's crazy. He's a talented scorer. He made 7 threes today. Or I should say last night, Last night he had 7 threes. Curry didn't shoot very well from the field. And the Warriors, they shot 69 threes yesterday. That's second most in the NBA history. The Rockets shot 71 a few years ago, back when Harden was there, and I believe Chris Paul was there. And this is making me very curious on if this is the Warriors formula, which is similar to Houston when it comes to putting up 3-point shots. Oh boy, look out, because I think that's the best way for them to win, to be honest, because I still don't believe they're as talented, even with a 2-year removed Klay Thompson. I don't believe that. I do believe that their reign is over at this point, and they're trying their best not to admit it. Now, I do believe when Klay Thompson comes back, they're easily a top 4 seed in the league. Don't get me wrong. But I know for a fact I'm taking the Lakers, I'm taking the Nets, and I'm taking the Bucks. That's like a healthy Bucks at least for sure. That's my opinion. You can argue with me if you want, but I don't believe them as a true contender. I would debatably take a healthy Denver team too, honestly, because I really like Denver. I think MPJ is going to be really good this year, as is why I'm making my MPJ video later today. But anyways, I just don't know consistently what I'm going to get out of their young players, Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody. I actually don't believe Kuminga and Moody are really going to get run this season. I don't believe at least Moody won't. The run that we think they might get. Same with Kuminga. I just believe that in the Warrior system, their veterans that they added this season fit so well. Otto Porter Jr., this might be a revival career for him as a role player. I mean, good Lord. He shot, what did he shoot? 3 or 5 from the three-point line? 4 or 6, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to be a really good player for them. Bielitsa, a good stretch four for them who can handle the ball, by the way, which I don't believe a lot of people actually know about that. He can handle the ball, guys. Let's not act like Bielitsa is just some cone on offense. Toscano Anderson, I like what he can bring on the defensive end. Avery Bradley, although I think he's kind of washed at this point, a good 3-and-D player, a veteran 3-and-D player that you can bring in. I like what they added this offseason, and I do believe that they're going to be a top 8 seed for sure. And when Klay Thompson comes back, look out. Because when they're hot, especially if they're jacking up 69 threes a game, which I don't believe will be per game, but we're seeing what their ceiling can be and their potential on three-point shooting can be in this early preseason game. Now with the Blazers, we kind of saw what it's going to be like this season. It's going to be a repeat of next season, or of this season, I should say. It's going to be, if Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum don't score, who's going to be that next guy? Norman Powell, obviously, I really like Norman Powell as an underrated scorer. Nurkic, I pray that he can stay healthy this season because who knows what he can offer when healthy. Rebounding, obviously. He's stretching the floor a little bit. He shot a couple threes, hit one, and I like to see that. I really pray that Nurkic can stay healthy because they need him. But after that, it's like, where do you look to on this bench unit? It's a lot of young guys or unproven players, which I don't really like. And that's unfortunate for the Trailblazers because it's just going to be a repeat of last year. I'm already calling it Trailblazers media. There's going to be plenty of Damian Lillard trade rumors. And we're about to find out what the Blazers are going to do this next offseason. Are they going to trade Dame? They're going to trade CJ? Potentially even consider moving Norman on that contract? We're going to find out what the Blazers are made of this season. And I don't believe that, honestly, they are more than like a 7 seed this season. And that's super unfortunate. Now, I believe that Lillard's going to end up wanting a trade at some point. That's just a gut feeling. I just don't believe the fact that after all these years of not getting to where they wanted to be, I think this is finally it for them. I thought a few years ago was their peak. And that's super unfortunate because Damian Lillard is such a good player. And it was so awesome to see Damian Lillard back in action. He's hitting these step-back threes and awesome, like these mid-range pull-ups, just taking it to the basket hard. I love to see that. Overall, I'm just glad NBA season is back, baby. That's just all I can ask for. But anyways, that was my simple recap of yesterday's game. These 2 simple games. Stay tuned for these every time there's games. And with that said, that'll conclude today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that said, shot callers out.